Welcome back, and today we have 10 knives from lesser known brands. Most all these came from Amazon, or some of them are my Amazon Knife of the Month picks. First up, we have the Sitivien ST152, and even though Sitivien is starting to get a little bit of traction in the knife community, they're still a lesser known brand than most of the popular brands out there. This one really surprised me by its performance and how slicey it is. It's nice and thin. It's got a beautiful drop point blade, super versatile, pretty much any type of cutting you do. And the action, look at that action. Super snappy, super smooth action. Now, one downfall is it's not reversible on the pocket clip, and they didn't inset those screws, but they did inset the clip into the frame. So they're doing a lot of stuff right, especially for a $30 knife, or at least whenever I bought it, it's $30. I will have links to all these knives down in the description if you're interested in picking up any of these. You got nice contouring on the micarta scales. Mine's a little dried out because it was in a knife case, and it tends to pull the oils off of the scales. Good access to the lock bar, deep carry pocket clip. Yeah, this is a really good one. Probably my favorite Sitivien to date. Next, we have Remette knives, and I just discovered them earlier this year, and this was the first one I reviewed on the channel. This is the Remette Handfeel knife, and I absolutely love this knife. I love the blade shape, almost a spear point blade, or you could probably call it a spear point or drop point. Nice and slicey. It's got multiple deployment with the flipper tab and the thumb studs, whatever you choose. They both work really, really well. Comfortable in my hand, and you have a deep carry pocket clip, but unfortunately they missed a mark by not making it lefty friendly. It's a nice weight, nice size for EDC. It's got Peel Ply G10. You can get it in a coated blade as well. They did a good job of skeletonization, and it held up really well in my testing in the review. If you want to see more of this one, go check out the review on my channel. I discovered this brand a little bit after Remette knives, and this is XTOUCH or XTOUCH, or however you want to call that right there. And this is their SD, I'll put the name of the knife right here. I was scrolling Amazon, I saw 14C28N, and I thought it looked rather interesting, so I picked it up. Of course, it's got a high flat grind that comes down nice and thin. This thing performed outstanding in my testing. This one's a black wash version. You can get it 9 coated as well. It's got very, very nice texturing on the Peel Ply G10. Very nice and grippy. They also offer it in micarta now. They didn't whenever I picked it up. It's a button lock, very, very smooth action. You can use the thumb studs, which they're not the most comfortable thumb studs. As you can see, they're just, your plain basic. But it also has a flipper tab with some jimping there that works excellent as well. This one does not have a reversible pocket clip either. Don't know what all these companies are thinking. Other than that, though, love the knife. Performed nicely. If you want to see more of this one, go check out my review. This was one of my earlier Amazon Knife of the Month picks, probably my first or second time I did this. And this is a knife from Katsu, and they weren't really on my radar before this knife. When I got this in, I was like, wow, that carbon fiber is absolutely stunning. Nice and contoured, smooth to the touch. I think it looks beautiful. There's no voids on either side whatsoever. This is a front flipper, and I'm not a huge front flipper fan, but what attracted me to this one is the fact that it has a full height convex grind. It's not something you see on a lot of folders, and I wanted to check it out. I wanted to see how it performed, and it performed pretty nicely. This particular one with the carbon fiber is in 154 cm. They're also a cheaper version with multi-layered G10 D2 steel. It's a different blade shape too, though. But this put Katsu knives on my radar, and I'm hoping to get the more premium version of this. That's a titanium frame lock, and it has a pocket clip. This one doesn't have a pocket clip. However, it does come with this nice sheath right here. You can carry it vertical or horizontal. Very nicely made, high quality sheath. Fits the knife very, very well. This one from Titanium I picked up not too long ago, and I gotta say, I've been really, really enjoying it. This one has a titanium frame, titanium backspacer, and what I was attracted to by this one is the actual blade on it. Flip it open. I found even though you can flip it from here, and that's where they expect you to do, you can also use this, and that is something that works a lot better. And it takes the Olfa blades, as you can see here, stainless Japan, and it's just like a Kiridashi style blade, utility blade, and you unscrew it from here. You can swap this out. If you're not, an excellent sharper, you can use it till it no longer cuts anymore. If you don't feel like sharpening it up, you can slap a brand new blade in there. I found that it's pretty easy to strap these back up, and talk about come ridiculously sharp. It has a chisel edge. This portion of the grind goes all the way down to the end, and then this portion right here has a bevel on one side. They slice really well, and this one's fun because it is a titanium frame lock. I found the easiest way to disengage that lock is just to grab it right here. Mine did have some pretty gnarly stick at first, but it broke in rather quickly. You do have a milled titanium pocket clip. Now, it's not the deepest clip, but I will tell you that if you're wearing thick pants, it's going to be trouble going into the pocket. And one thing I did notice, you got to be careful. Just make sure you're wearing it in your right pocket, because these little nubs right here could catch a hold of the pocket and wave it out of your pocket, and you don't want to get cut by one of these blades. These things come sharp as any other razor blade I know of. But well priced. I think I paid like $68 for it, and I think that's a good deal. You can also use these Torx head screws as a thumb stud. They're not the most comfortable, and you gotta be careful with all that extra portion of that tang. I found this is the easiest way right there, just to pull that back. Those also acts as the stop right here. It's not a hard use knife. It's a good quality little EDC knife that I think is priced pretty well for all the titanium on it. Next is the Monakala Assult Team #1 knife. And we did that short, and I think I did the video on these, and we sold them out rather quickly because this is actual titanium, and the blade steel on it is 14C with a nice compound grind. It's a nice slicey hollow grind in this portion, flat grind in this portion. And I had to anodize this myself to make sure it was titanium, because this knife cost me $38. So yeah, these sold out rather quickly after we did that video. So hopefully everybody that wanted one got one. If not, they were available at the time I'm shooting this. I will leave a link down in the description if you're interested in one of these. Now, for $38, I wasn't expecting much, but this thing performed better than most 14C I've tested. The lock on this one is solid. It does flip a little strange, but it does flip nice and snappy. So, you can't expect the world for a $38 knife, but was definitely surprised on how well it performed for being a $38 knife. And I like this one so much that I also got the real carbon fiber version, carbon fiber scales, making it a little bit lighter. And I was very skeptical that would be carbon fiber, but it's a nice chunk of carbon fiber through and through. I don't have it near me to check to show y'all. That one's like $30, and you can also get it in G10 for like 20-something bucks. So I think it's a pretty cool knife for the money. Another Amazon Knife of the Month pick. This is the New Knives Kumpanter. It's got a lot of similarities and looks to the Sitivien Elementum, but in some ways I find this to be a better knife. Very snappy action. Same, you got that nice deep hollow ground blade, D2 steel. This one performed nice G10 scales. Deep carry pocket clip right there. It is reversible, that little notch right there. But what really got me excited about this knife is how silky smooth the action is on this thing. I mean, ridiculously smooth. It's got a pretty stout D10 on mine. And my only complaints on this knife were the thumb studs can be a little slick. And this is also a front flipper. And I don't know if they've fixed this yet or not, but the jimping on the front flipper is pretty darn slick, and it doesn't go all the way to the end right there. So even though I can do it, it's just not the easiest thing. I always go to that thumb stud. But these are priced at like $30, maybe $35, maybe a little more dollars. I definitely think it's worth that price tag. Another one that absolutely blew me away is the Olitans knife. This thing I think is like 60 bucks. And you have a titanium frame, G10 backspacer that's super bright. Frame lock, deep carry tip-up pocket clip. Now, it's not reversible, unfortunately. And the action, super snappy. And this comes with 3 different replacement blades. And usually when you get those replacement blades, they're like 5CR or something super soft. But this is in 9CR18 MOV. Same stuff Sitivien uses and a lot of other companies. I tested it on the channel, and I was kind of worried that this mechanism would loosen up on me, because you put the blade in, it has that little piece right there, and you tighten this up, and that holds the blade down. And I was worried it was going to loosen up, kind of being safe, and I started using it harder and harder. It held up the entire time, did not come loose, and the blade performed outstanding. It came ridiculously sharp out of box. And then check this action out. Super light blade and very smooth action. Reverse flick it. Comfortable. I can choke all the way up if I want. Choke back if you're kind of nervous about that. You know, close it on you or something. The lockup, good. For the money, it's very hard to beat. And yes, I already know. Somebody told me already this is looks very similar to the Leatherman Garage series knife or whatever. But a friend of mine, Max Level DC, said this is way, way better than that knife. And I believe him. This thing's very well done. And I know that garage knife or whatever from Leatherman, he said, was absolutely a hot mess. So very, very nice knife. This is a pretty recent buy. I think it's Kexmo or Kexmo. Too many knives to remember. I'll put it up here on the screen. Another one that kind of resembles that Kumpanter and a Sitivien Elementum. It's got a nice peel ply G10. That flipper tab works nicely. It rockets out. I love that blade shape. Nice deep hollow grind. This one has a wider blade than those two, and you can choke up on it. Very, very comfortable and locked in. Nice grippy jimping. This thing performed nice. It's in D2 steel, and it's like 30 bucks, I think. Beautiful, beautiful action. Comes in this black. You can also get it with a black wash green G10. It's got a lanyard hole, reversible pocket clip. Something that, let me check. Something that I don't think the original Elementum came with is a reversible pocket clip. Pretty certain it didn't. It's got internal milling in here to lighten it up. The balance point is right where you'd want it to be. Yeah, it's a good size. It should fit most of your large, even extra large hands if you choked up on it. I can choke back and still get a 4-finger grip with my medium-sized hands. And the action on this knife is excellent. Do wish they would have put some jimping on that flipper tab, especially since they put a chamfer on both sides. But it still flips really nicely, and I haven't really found myself sliding off of it. Good access to that lock bar. And being that they put that chamfer on both sides right there, it's nice and comfortable when you choke up. Very, very cool knife for the money. I don't think you can go wrong on this one. Because I thought it was super interesting. This is the Win Plus knife. I think that's what they call it. They have like different versions of this Win Plus knife. And they called this an axis lock. So that's what I thought when I got it. Whenever I first flipped it, I thought it was assisted, but that's not the case. I do have a chart where I lift this scale, turn to the side, and show how this lock is working. It's very interesting. It kind of, I'd say it's like a back lock, kind of like the ant lock from Steel Wheel, and there was another lock that it kind of reminded me of. But this thing is hooked to a bar on both sides. I don't know if I better show you this. You lift this up, and this right here pulls this up and down, this little plate, and then that falls in a notch just like a back lock does. And I think this thing right here, from what I could tell, is it's holding the 2 bars that are going this way. And I think it's a counter. Like I think it's spring loaded and then countering this weight. So that's what gives you that somewhat of assisted feeling. Because right here, it's kind of like an axis lock. It catches that lock and you got to overcome it, and it pretty much locks in place. And that acts as a detent. This thing rockets out. You can also choke up on this one, D2 steel. And I did testing on this one, and it held up fine. I thought it didn't wow me, but it's like a $30 knife or something like that. It's sliced well. Love that blade shape. Like I said, you can choke up. It's got nice peel ply G10, reversible pocket clip, deep carry, deep, and it also has the plate. I mean, come on, at that price, as long as it cuts half decent, I think it's worth it. Now, like I said, instead of pulling back like an axis lock, you just push this up. You have them on both sides. You only have to pull one at a time to disengage that. Flips very, very nicely and carries well in the pocket as also. That's 10 knives that I picked up off of Amazon that are lesser known companies that I thought, you know, are worth picking up. Some of them more than others, like this one, outstanding buy. If you haven't checked that one out, I would definitely do yourself a favor. Same with this one. If you need a nice beater that's going to perform nicely in 14C, the Monakala knives, Assult Team 1. And like I said, all these will be linked down below. If you want a pretty cool awful blade holder, this titanium knife, super cool with the titanium scales and pocket clip. And been pretty impressed with the Katsu knives. Definitely want to have more on the channel. And of course the XTOUCH, they've been, you know, making their way around the community. Still a lesser known brand, but pretty good knives. Same with Remette knives. I've been pretty impressed so far. And it seems like Sitivien has been stepping up their game. The last two I got didn't really have any issues. The first like 4 or 5 that I got, you know, last year had a good bit of issues. So there you go. If you have any questions about anything in particular, feel free to let me know down below. Hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.